Hello and welcome to the short Vort on Shavuos and BAMIDBAR. We'll connect the two, the Parshas BAMIDBAR, the book of Numbers. We start off in Perik Aleph, Pasuk Beis. We talk about Moshe's commanded, Sues Rosh Kol Adas B'nei Yisrael, Mishpachosam Leveisavosam, V'mispar Shemos Kol Zorecha Legugulosam. Basically, Moshe is commanded to count all the Jews, and one of the reasons why it was so important to count every Jew is because every Jew is so important, especially the Torah of each individual Jew. Sefer Imrei Baruch by Baruch Simon of Yeshiva Rabbeinu Yitzchak Elchanan. So he has we'll call it a mimer on the importance of the Torah of each and every Jew. And the Gemara in Baba Basra says that there was praise for Yehoshua ben Gamle, that if it was not for him, Nishtakach Torah Yisrael, the Torah would have been forgotten from Yisrael. What did he do? Well, originally the way the system was that each father would teach their own son or sons the Torah. But if someone, Chas v'shalom, didn't have a father, then that person didn't learn Torah. So Rabbi Yehoshua ben Gamle instituted that in Yerushalayim that they would have teachers for each individual child. Malamdei Tinokos. They'd have people who teach even from a young age the Torah. So even if someone didn't have parents, they would be supported in Torah knowledge. The question is, what does it mean by the Torah would have been forgotten from all of Yisrael? So it would have been lost to individual families, the ones without a father, but the rest of the families would have known Torah. So what does it mean? So in Sefer Tiferes Elimelech by Rabbi Tzvi Elimelech Waxman Shlita, he says that the intent here is actually that the Torah would have been forgotten from the Clal Yisrael, from the entirety of Yisrael, because the way to teach Torah is to teach your children about the importance of each individual one's Torah. That, each person learns Torah a different way, yet that's part of like a gigantic puzzle. And if you're missing a piece of a gigantic puzzle, even if it's a small piece, and even if there's 1,000 or 1,000,000 pieces, there's still something lacking. And it's necessary for the Torah of every single person to be included. And therefore, if it was just these families that didn't have their father teach them Torah, that would have affected the entire Clal Yisrael and the Torah as a group, and therefore that would be called Nikra Shichcha Torah Meklal Yisrael Kulo. For the entire Torah would be lacking. Perhaps we can add one other thought from Torah Tavlin about the whole procedure at Har Sinai. You had the fire and the flame and the kol shofar and the smoke. It was a whole pomp and circumstance what was going on there. So there's a mashal that is shared that there was once a rich king, and he betrothed his daughter to a fine man but a poor man, and they agreed that they would live in the house in the town of the groom. As the wedding day approached, the king and his family and daughter they went in a golden carriage, and they went from town to town. They made stops. They spent a lot of money. It was in the newspapers. Everyone was looking and amazed at the wealth of this person. And eventually they got to the town of the groom, which he was met and treated as royalty. But the father of the bride noticed that the groom was looking somewhat down. He asked him, "What's wrong?" So the groom responded to his future father-in-law. He says, "Yeah, with all this stuff, how am I going to treat your daughter in the life that she had been accustomed to?" So the father said, "Don't worry. My daughter and I, we know that the circumstances are going to change. We know that, but we wanted you, by watching this whole pomp and circumstance, to appreciate where she came from, and that you would try as much as you can to give her what she was used to." And this is this mashal is explained as relating to Kabbalas Torah on Shavuos, that when the people saw all the pomp and the sounds and the flames and the smoke and everything going on, that was Hashem giving away His daughter, the Torah, Kaviyachal, to the Bnei Yisrael. And so Moshe Sternbuch, Shlita, says that the Torah, as the daughter of the King of Kings, so was being betrothed to a commoner. And therefore, in order to remind us, the commoners, what the glory of the Torah is, Hashem gave it in tremendous pomp and circumstances, so that we should appreciate it all. So thank you for listening. Have a wonderful Shabbos, wonderful Shavuos. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like.